Well, back to the cold weather. No more 90-degree Panama weather. I'm putting my seatbelt on. I am leaving my house right now, and I'm on my way to Latour's Auto, which is a mile down the road. This is primarily why I do most of my filming there. It's close to home, easy to get to. So I have 2 cars to do, and I'm hoping that I can knock them both out maybe within one video. I don't know, usually when I bring you guys with me, it takes me 5 times longer to do everything. So the bad part is I really don't feel like working today. This is a far cry from Panama weather, but I love the snow too. So I'm gonna try to keep you guys live maybe the whole time. I don't know, just thinking how I want to do this one. I think you guys like to watch me work unedited, in a way, unedited. Thought process is key to any of this, and thought process is learned over the years. It's one of the hardest things to teach is direction. So I don't know, we'll see how this one goes. I'm gonna shut you guys off here for a second and turn you back on when I get to Latour's Auto, and maybe we'll even interview Pete. Well, just pulled in, and I'm gonna go in and surprise Pete. He might not like being on camera, but sometimes it's more fun this way. So let's go inside and see what we're doing. Sign says use other door. What's up, guys? How you doing, man? Good to see you.
What are you doing?
Filming.
Why?
Why not?
I want some royalties if this ends up on YouTube or something. Or in a book.
Could be
What
both.
not to do?
What not to do? What are we working on, Pete?
Get in this industry, you're stupid.
Don't listen to this guy. That's a horrible comment.
I'm kidding. Where's the photo? A lot of work.
What am I working on?
Tours. I got a red Ford outside, clean system.
Okay. Ford truck?
Yeah. Open the seat, turn. Let's see all the ready to do it.
What's up, Lenny?
What's happening? Open face turn.
So what are the chances I get that truck in here, Pete? Or at least next to the door so I can do a smoke test on it, you know?
We could definitely get it in here.
Where's
So
the
Red Onion calls you now to let you know what the specials are. Okay.
Where's the keys at, Pete?
In it.
Keys are in it?
Yes, sir.
Ford truck?
Yes, sir. 150 right next to the door.
Okay. I'll start with that. This one right here. Well, that was kind of awkward, wasn't it? That's all right. He said a lean condition. Where do we start? 5.4. Well, obviously scan tool. Let me grab the scanner. Well, while we're waiting for the scan tool to boot up here, little things to think about is how long has the vehicle been sitting. Right now the engine's cold, so there's some cold engine tests I can do potentially to give me direction. Some other things really not relevant probably to this job is pay attention to climate control modes that the customer had it in, and you see that we're in defrost, so that means the AC clutch is going to turn on at times. Actually floor defrost is where we are, but Fords will turn the clutch on in everything except floor. I believe, and maybe panel. Anyway, little tips. Right now my blower is running. I don't want to kill my battery, so I'm going to turn that off, but just taking note of that. Again, not relevant to this one. You know, our complaint is a lean condition or a lean trouble code. Actually, I didn't even ask him what the symptoms were. I probably should have. We'll grab our codes, look at our freeze frame data next. You know what? This is taking a while to load. Let's take a quick peek under the hood. One of the things that I fail to mention to you guys a lot is the importance of a good visual inspection. And those are things that I do, maybe not initially, but visual inspection for lean codes, things like this right here. Check out the mass airflow grommet. That shouldn't be like that. That is a air leak right there. Right there. That being open, you are definitely going to pull air in there, and it will affect how that mass airflow reads. So wouldn't that be cool if that was it? Take a look at the PCV lines, things like that. So nothing other than that jumping out at me, but that's pretty important piece though, potentially right there. Back under the dash. Let's look at the scan tool. Going after my memory codes first. Watch there be like 50 codes in this. So OBD2 checks in complete, system lean, bank 1 and bank 2. That's cool. There's only 2 codes, but somebody was in here and cleared the memory. Again, I've said this many times. Those are things you want to let your customers know about. There is the potential for other faults that we're not seeing at this time. So what are we doing today? What are we getting paid for? We're getting paid for the 171 and 174 fault codes only. We have to be clear about that. So now what I want to know is parameters on when these lean conditions set. So I'm going to go to generic functions and I'm going to freeze frame. So we're at 1,000 RPM, 32% on both banks on short term, 25% both banks long term. Calculated load is 61%. That's interesting. And our vehicle speed's 32. So I'm not sure if this was an idle speed condition yet. 1,000 RPM, that doesn't mean we're at idle when this occurred. So I think what we need to do is duplicate it. The nice thing is we're at 174 degrees, so I don't have to worry about this maybe being a cold engine only issue and I'm going to miss it if I run the vehicle. So I feel comfortable running it. So we'll do it live now. I am concerned about what we saw on that mass airflow. And I'd love for it to be that easy. And let's do a custom. We'll look at upstream, downstream O2s and fuel trims for now. $150,000 miles. I don't know if I said that already on this vehicle. Looks like we just went into closed loop. That was really fast too. Let's reset our trims here. We go back out and then back in. I just wanted to reset the min-max scale so you guys can see the short term a little bit better, a little bit more of a narrower range. So you see the up down of it. Long term right now is 20%, so, and I am idling, so that is suggesting potentially a vacuum leak. Let's see what it looks like at a higher RPM. I'm gonna see if it gets better or worse. That's 2,500. We did have an improvement here. 16 and 17%, not huge, but it definitely got better. And you see the long-term memory at idle speed is now at 24-25%, and looks like short-term just went even more positive. So here's what we can do without going nuts with this. I'll go under the hood and plug in that grommet on that mass airflow, and if that's the problem, we'll see the correction right away on the short term. So let me try to rig up the camera on the scan tool, and I'll go out under the hood and do that, because I want you guys to see the exact time that I do it. Well, it's at a little bit of an angle, but you guys can at least see the short term. So I'm gonna go plug that in. You guys watch the camera, or you guys watch the scan tool. All right, and I plugged that in. Let's shut that dome light off. And I really don't see any major improvement there. So looks like maybe I'm chasing a vacuum leak here. Raise the RPM. I would imagine that that's going to improve the higher RPM number. You see we're -5 here. I don't know if you can see that number. That's it was -5 a second ago. That one I saw a -6 on at one point. There's -3, -3. So nothing crazy. No drastic improvement there. But good lesson on visual inspections. We still have a problem. Now, can we find it quickly without the smoke machine? That would be cool. I can hook up the smoke machine too. This raise your RPM and check your trims. There are variables to it, guys, but the patterns I look for, I think, is the key. And you guys have been following me for a while, know what I'm talking about. If we raise our RPM and our trim numbers get better, then it suggests a vacuum leak. If they get worse, it suggests mass airflow, low fuel pressure, things like that. There's something else that we can do when we question these, and that's look at other data parameters. One of the things that I would want to look at is my mass airflow sensor or my baro reading on a Ford. And what I want to see on Fords with the baro is actually a number that's not that low. Like, that's 146 on that baro is low. You know, we should be like 150 something here in Pittsburgh, so that could be a factor too. And that number can be low from a dirty mass airflow. It can also be low from exhaust restrictions and air intake issues, and really that number could be low from that grommet being left out. So is that putting me towards a mass airflow problem, or is that putting me still towards a vacuum leak? You know, these are questions I still have in my mind. I still think right now we need to come back to that, but I think right now I'm going to focus on checking for a vacuum leak first before we look at the mass airflow any further. So I mean, look at that. We're at 25% long-term and 10% short-term. This is maxed out right now on the long-term, that is. Sorry to be bouncing back and forth. There's another check we can do with the mass airflow. It's if it lets me. And this engine has a little bit of a knock to it, little tap. So I'm not too keen about doing this test, but we're gonna do a wide open throttle snap, and I want to look at my mass airflow voltage. I'm just looking at one data PID and looking at this guy. Let's do list view. That's probably better. Lots of glare. What I want to see on this snap is I want to see 4 volts. I want to see near 4 volts on Fords, and that was what, 361? Let's do that again. So I just hit 4.44 volts. So that moves me away from the mass airflow. We had a baro reading of 140 something, and I believe that baro reading is low because of that grommet, not because of a dirty mass airflow. Not at 4.4 volts, no way. That mass airflow, I'm not even going to look at it. I am comfortable with that number. So pretty cool. We can move away from that. I really think that our baro frequency PID will improve after this vehicle is driven, and that number, some of this is hard in the real world talking about it here. It's easier to talk about in my classroom how Ford uses this baro calculation. Really has to do with the old school map sensors that they used, and they used frequency for the map, and the baro was always a calculated number off the map. But this is supposed to update at wide open throttle on Fords, and that number is not going to change unless it's driven at wide open throttle or the battery's disconnected. But again, that number's low. I don't like it, but it's not from a dirty mass airflow. We're going after a vacuum leak. Let's maybe take a look under the hood. I don't know. I'm gonna go under the hood and take a peek. Okay, so here's the plan. I'm going to use water and see if I can hear some hissing under the hood. I don't have a squirt bottle, so I got an old empty water bottle, and I just poked holes in the top of it with a pin. So I'm gonna go fill it up. Be right back. All right, so back in this area on this PCV line, I've seen these go. So I'm just going to be quiet for a second and listen. No luck so far. This hole is a little bit small. Kind of need more volume. Right there. Hang on, I gotta get some more water. I hear it. I really enjoy my job. There's days I don't, feel like getting up, going to work or whatever, but I'm having fun. And I hope that comes through in these videos, man. I am blessed to be able to do this. And maybe I'm talking prematurely because the next car, maybe I'm gonna get my butt kicked, but I think this one we're almost done, and it's pretty cool. I'll try to keep you focused in this area where I heard the water getting sucked in. I think it's the intake gasket or an injector O-ring, we'll see. All right, so right down in here. Nice, right here. Right there. Truck's misfiring now. Now here's the question. Is that an intake gasket or is that an injector O-ring? I'm gonna squirt it on the other side to see if I hear the same thing, and maybe that'll be a gauge. I'm gonna take you guys with me now. All right, take a listen right here. Hard to pick that up on camera. Right there. Let's hit it on the other side. Nope, I hear it over here too. Bad. So, I'm not even gonna worry about whether it's the injector O-ring or not, because if it was just one single injector O-ring, it would be doing it right here, right where the injector is at. It's doing it on both sides. I have lean conditions on both banks. You see how rough the engine's running now, because of it pulling some water in. I'm getting hisses on this side. Right there. Same thing on this side. I hope that's picking up. It's so obvious on this side. Cool. So intake gaskets are the call, and it wouldn't hurt for him to put a set of injector O-rings on this too, but it's definitely not the O-rings, it's the intake gasket. And I know some of you guys would like to watch me do the repair and all of that too, but you guys got to understand, I'm not here to do that. I'm here to tell Pete what he needs to do, and that's his job to fix it. I just get paid to troubleshoot, so I'm confident in that. I could put the smoke machine on this and show it to you guys that way too, but it's really not necessary. A lot of you guys don't have smoke machines, and you can use water just like I did here. So intake gaskets is the call. As far as the baro reading being low on the MAF, I'm comfortable with this grommet that we put back on. That's going to take care of that. And put a set of gaskets on this. This thing will be good to go. So that's one of two. I'm here to do another one. I don't know if I'll do this in the same video, make it separate. Well, that was fun. I am finished. Ford truck is really all I did. I really wish I could have a camera crew following me around. And I say that because, you know, sometimes when I come down here, you saw all the guys that were in there. Some of them are helping Pete, some of them are friends that hang out. But one of the guys had a Honda CR-V that had an idle problem, and you know, you kind of know who your paying customers are and who isn't. And not that this guy he was going to pay me. It wasn't that. It was just really helping out a friend. And I approach a diagnosis on a friend's car a lot different because there's room for error. In other words, what most of the time they're looking for is just some good direction. And man, I should have kept you guys with me on that. But he had, hang on. Covering my mic up again. And yes, my seatbelt is on. I had to move the shoulder belt because it's cutting across my microphone. I love that you guys are worried about me being safe. That's good. Anyway, where was I? Direction on my friend's CRV, and it had an idle problem. It had an idle air control fault code, and he described it as it was surging up and down, and I had him check his coolant level, and we found a cold fast idle valve, and that was working like it was supposed to. You know, the Hondas with their mechanical fast idle valves, they still use that in 2002, which is crazy. And I didn't find any vacuum leaks, and I was just going through it quick. Really the same thing I just showed you on this Ford truck. And I didn't find anything, and really I took the pliers I was using, I was actually pinching off hoses because he had mentioned he had a code for his PCV or something. And anyway, I didn't find anything, and I just took the pliers and I tapped lightly on the idle air control valve, and his idle came down. So his idle air control valve was sticking, and that would have been cool to show you guys. So we miss some of that stuff. I just wish I could catch everything for you guys. And sometimes things are very quick, and they don't require the high-tech equipment, and I don't know, it would have been fun to show you. But anyway, the Ford truck was fun, and it was nice and easy, and I have money in my pocket now, and I got enough. Let's take the family out to dinner, and there's 6 of us, so but I don't know, it's just a good day. Appreciate you guys being with me, and hopefully you guys learned something from that Ford. I know the techniques that I used, you guys have seen it before, but thought processes and variables and all of that stuff are good to be a part of. And again, I appreciate you guys being with me too in Panama and what went down there. I have some other repair videos from that. I'm not sure I'll be able to show them because I'm not sure they're complete enough. I had this Ford, it wasn't a Ford, it was a Toyota diesel engine that had a real bad crank seal leak, and I was actually able to fix it with like a couple of wrenches and a breaker bar, and it was pretty cool. I have most of that on film. I'm not sure I'll be able to show you guys that, but maybe, we'll see. But well, you see how quick it takes me to get home from Pete's. So I'm home, and I will catch you guys later.